Hello, my name is Ethan Daniels, and today I'll be going over Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park is one of the best-known national parks in America. It is located mainly in northwestern Wyoming and partially in southern Montana and eastern Idaho. The history and geologic processes are very interesting. In March of 1872, President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Yellowstone National Park Protection Act. This made Yellowstone the first national park in the world. Now more than 2 million acres of wilderness are protected. Many geologic processes have occurred in Yellowstone to form the current mountains and valleys we know today. The park has experienced tectonic activity, earthquake and volcanic, and erosion due to water and ice. Some examples are the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone and the Gallatin Mountain Range. The center of the park is basically a giant volcanic plateau. Yellowstone has multiple rock types, including metamorphic, sedimentary, and igneous. The rocks have gone through the processes of erosion, tension, and compression. Mountains like First Peoples Mountain are formed by the compressional forces of converging boundaries. Valleys like the Madison Valley are created when the diverging plates cause tension and with river erosion. These processes have led to the formation of metamorphic, sedimentary, and igneous rocks in underlying geology. Yellowstone National Park contains more than 600 lakes, rivers, and geysers. Rivers flow through valleys and plains, cutting through the landscape and through the park. The network moves efficiently because of the elevation difference and the restriction of flow throughout the landscape. The river flows through mountains, which affect its course. A few of the rivers are affected by pollution issues. For example, ammonia is naturally found in water, but fertilizer, sewage, and waste that enters the water from outside the park can cause dangerously high levels that can be lethal to fish. The water in the park is used to supplement the power structure by generating hydroelectric energy at the Fort Yellowstone Powerhouse. This saves electricity costs and greenhouse gas emissions. There are three main geologic hazards in Yellowstone: earthquakes, volcanoes, and wildfires. The most frequent and destructive hazard for Yellowstone is earthquakes, because the park is one of the most seismically active areas in the U.S. Earthquakes have the ability to destroy and disturb areas and environments around the epicenter due to ground displacement. Wildfires and volcanic activity are also geologic hazards. Yellowstone National Park sits on top of a network of fault lines, which explains the reason why it's so seismically active. This is also why geysers and volcanoes are within the park. Volcanoes can alter geologic settings and cause organic life to die. The supervolcano in Yellowstone is currently dormant, but could possibly erupt in the distant future. Wildfires can spread and destroy entire environments and animal habitats. Lightning is the leading cause of fires at Yellowstone, and the rest come from human negligence. Mitigation of these hazards starts with the proper studies, sciences, and funding for locations to detect these risks. Tracking past patterns is important. With public communication and cooperation, no person could be harmed by these hazards. Evacuation plans are vital. Earthquakes can be mitigated by estimating probability and using seismometers to detect waves within the Earth's crust. Another way is to construct and engineer earthquake-resistant housing and other forms of buildings, and to create and interpret topographic seismic hazard maps to plan the construction of structures in less likely earthquake zones. Volcanoes are about the same as earthquakes. They can be predicted, and an evacuation plan can be implemented. Wildfires can be prevented in many different ways, including being careful with lit cigarettes, fires of any sort, and electrical sparks. Respecting the wilderness is key to fire prevention. Power plants, industry, agriculture, and oil and gas development are primary pollutant resources that are near Yellowstone. Thankfully, this does not affect or originate from inside this beautiful national park, thanks to federal laws and regulations. Within the park, Yellowstone's geysers naturally pollute the air with sulfur. Man-made air pollution is at a minimum inside the park. but outside near the borders of surrounding towns and cities, it is much heavier. These outlying areas around Yellowstone rival those of New York and Los Angeles as far as pollution goes. Currently, hunting is not allowed in the park, but big game and birds may be hunted on land adjacent to the park boundaries. Fishing is allowed with a permit and is recommended to catch and release native species. Both of these rules help to maintain population control and a balanced ecosystem. Visitors are very respectful of Yellowstone National Park's animals, flora, and the area's natural resources. Yellowstone National Park is an amazingly maintained and beautiful park. The park has many geologic processes that establish an interesting geologic history. Not only that, but Yellowstone's water data has been an integral part of the shape of the landscape. Yellowstone National Park is more important than just keeping wildlife and the environment safe. Parks like this are like large history books for our planet. Studying geologic history and processes and settings can help give us enlightenment on what exactly our planet has gone through and what we can expect for the future. Yellowstone National Park is truly an American treasure. Thank you.